Two teams finished last season better than the Air Force Falcons in college football. Finished the year on a 4-game win streak. They're looking to parlay that, Vegas term by the way, into the momentum here in the 2025 season. Welcome back to Circa Resort. I'm Jesse Kurtz. Carly Drew now joined on stage by the Air Force Falcons. Bruin Fleischman, proud member of Cadet Squadron 13, the Bulldogs. And we have Luke Freer, the punter, proud member of Cadet Squadron 14, the Cobras. Fellas, appreciate you making time for us here on Mountain West Media Days. Welcome to the new football season.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Let's start with some of the news that happened today. Luke, the all-conference preseason all-conference team announced you a preseason all-Mountain West punter. You got to be pretty honored with that.
Yes, sir. That's an amazing blessing to have.
Yeah, and well-deserved. Certainly one of the top punters in the Mountain West and in the country returning here. Before we get started talking about football, let's talk about you guys' summer at the Air Force Academy. You guys have a different summer than most. Let's start with you, Luke. You spent some time in D.C. Tell us about some of the things that you were involved in during your summer program.
Well, the thing is, I'm not really supposed to tell you some of the things I was doing in D.C.
Well, then let's not talk about that.
So I was in D.C. for 6 weeks with the Defense Intelligence Agency. That's all that I can tell you. Currently right now.
On a need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know.
Yes, sir. Currently I'm working an obstacle course, helping the freshmen out.
And just had a march back from Jacks Valley. Do you remember back to that time and what that was like?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. It's hot and it's a long walk all the way over there.
But Bruin, the journey that you guys have from the moment that you guys are in Jacks Valley, you march out, and then the obstacle course and all of those things to where you are now, reflect a little bit on the journey and how satisfying that has been. Now that you got some of the hard part, the grueling part out of the way.
Yeah, a good way to describe it is the days are long, but the weeks go by fast. And so there's a lot that goes into it, whether that's your PE classes or the summer courses that you have to do. Like some of the PE classes we have to take are water survival. And so basically learning how to swim and conquering your fear of jumping off high stuff, swimming underwater, no goggles, stuff like that. Boxing class, combatives class. On the PE scale, so all that stuff, we've already checked all those boxes. And then there's the summer schedule stuff that you have to do, like grad requirements. Things like combat survival training and going to ops, which is like basically an internship that you have to do your junior year. And so there's just a bunch of stuff that you have to hit. But having it all behind you is pretty nice, I'll tell you that much.
Right, and I just have to ask you guys, you are D1 athletes, but at the end of the day, you are serving our country. So, Luke, I'll start with you. What drove you to want to be a part and join the Air Force?
Well, I don't think there's any greater honor than serving our amazing country. It's good to give back to a country that's given so much to us. Going back to my recruitment, my dad served in the Air Force. My brother served in the Air Force. So we're an Air Force family. So it only made sense for me to come to the Air Force Academy.
Varun, what about you?
I just think that there's so many opportunities that this school provides, and they're unique in the sense of while you're at the school, but then also beyond just the school itself. And so that would probably be the reason why I went to the Air Force Academy, is just everything that I wouldn't say necessarily is guaranteed afterward, but those things that come after you graduate.
And now you guys are a part of a very proud football program that has had great success, has had great success against anyone in the country, whether it be in bowl games, against Power 5 opponents, win after win. Last year hit a little bit of a rocky point, but you turned it around. And I mentioned this in the open. That 4-game winning streak, Bruin, what changed and how much has that kind of fueled what you guys can accomplish this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say to start this season, we were pretty young, and we kind of took that notion and kind of took it to heart, which wasn't very good of us to do. And then throughout the season, we started getting better, technically. But I think the thing that clicked within those last 4 games was we played as a team. We weren't just out there playing as individuals, and obviously our football and technique and IQs with all that improved, but we played as a team. And you can definitely see that translate over into spring ball. We don't do a spring game or anything like that, but it translated well, that momentum of those 4 games. Hoping to carry it over into fall ball and keep that ball rolling and just keep adding on to those, like you said, a parlay. So,
yeah, Luke, you had a really good season punting the football, split duties for a while in that role, but when you had your opportunity, you were one of the best in the country. You would have ranked 5th nationally if you had enough attempts. I mean, how much better can you be? I mean, there's been some really good punters in this league. Look no further. I mean, Matt Ariza was punting 80-yard punts regularly. He did it at the Air Force Academy. How would you characterize you and your impact that you can make on a football team?
I really think it comes down to the team. I've got, 47.5 punting average is really good.
Yeah.
But I got 10 other guys in the field out there with me. I got guys blocking for me. I got a wall right there, right in front of me, taking some heavy hits. I got an amazing long snapper who snaps me the ball really fast, gives me more time with the ball in my hands, and goes down there and covers when I miss the ball. So it really comes down to the 10 other guys on the punt team.
Look, I understand that you were a heck of a field goal kicker as well back in the day. Any chance that you start asking Coach Calhoun, hey, give me a shot here? You kicked a 59-yard field goal in high school, 3rd longest in Alabama high school history?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Tell me about that kick.
Well, yeah, going into halftime against one of our rivals, Baker, it was like tied game going in. I remember my coach always told me he was going to put me in that situation, and my high school coach gave me the opportunity, and it was crazy how God works. I mean, next day Air Force offered me, and then, coming here, I was asked to do the punting duties here. We got Reagan Tubbs doing the kicking stuff here. He's going to do a great job this season. If the opportunity comes, I would gladly take it.
How much did it clear by? 59 yards, how much did it clear by?
So, humbly, probably around 15 yards. It was a pretty good ball.
You hit it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I did.
Good job.
Well, awesome. Well, looking to the offense, Varun, I want to ask you about quarterback because that position is still up for grabs. We have Josh Johnson, saw some time last year, and then Liam Zarka. What can you say about these two guys?
Both are great quarterbacks and great options for us, and I can see, just my opinion, both of them playing throughout the season. I would say Josh is probably one of, if not the most athletic guy on our team. He's just super fast. He can do it all, which is really nice. And then for Liam Zarka, he's super versatile in the sense that he can run really well, right? And he's pretty tough. He can take the hits that he needs to, and he can also throw the ball too. So both great options there. The only thing with Liam is he's young, and that's nothing that he really can, he didn't cause that. So I think it'll just be one of those things where we kind of just have to work our way and see what happens. But I would expect both to get a lot of playing time this year.
And you personally at tight end, what are you most looking forward to heading into this next season? What do you personally want to just further your game this season?
Probably my three-point stance and blocking, I would say. No, I'm just kidding. We block a lot. Obviously a little bit of an air game, but that's not necessarily up for me to decide. And I think a lot of that just comes down to what the team needs, right? There's a lot of times that you have to
But that catch.
Yeah, that one.
Come on, man.
More air game.
It was a 7-yard route. I was thinking more about the celebration afterward, making sure we got the first down so I can celebrate. So they probably will play all 4 of my catches here. But it's just, I think it's not even my mentality of what the team needs. It's kind of everybody on the offense, even the wide receivers. We know what we signed up for, and we are all out here and we're doing what the team needs, and we're fine with that. So it's selfless, and that's kind of exactly what you want in this team that runs the triple option, and that's that discipline that system instills in us, and I think that's what you want, and it's just that brotherhood. So if me catching balls is good for the team and we're winning games because of it, perfect, that's what I'll do. But if blocking is what it has been in the past and what's going to win us games, that's what I'll do.
Tell you what, let's get Mike Thiessen on the horn. There have been plenty of guys that have been tight ends in your position that have been Travis Decker, Garrett Griffin goes to the NFL. Cade Wagaspack, Caleb Rillos. There have been guys that have caught some balls. So let's get Brew and Fly. We'll call Mike. We'll get him on the horn. We'll get you more footballs.
Let's just convert to an air raid at this point.
He'd like to throw the football a little bit. I think Mike would. But you guys are a run-first offense. There's no getting away around that. And one guy who will carry the load, one would think, because he's built for it, is Dylan Carson. 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think the biggest thing with Dylan, though, wasn't thrown for a loss once last year. Luke, when you think about this guy, and that's an iconic shot, by the way. That's incredible. Shout out to Sam Ross and his crew. But when Dylan Carson has the football, refuses to go down, Where does that come from? Because that's weight room, that's training. That's just not you just go out there and run the football and not get thrown down.
Exactly.
What's his work ethic like?
So let me tell you, when it's like 3rd and 3 and we hear punt team and they're ready, I'm like, all right. And then we see Dylan Carson go up there and get ready to go. And like you said, he always, goes forward, gets some yard, and gets a first down. Just a really hard-working guy. You see him in the weight room. Always working with Coach Getty and the staff, putting in the extra work. Not only that, but he's a super smart kid. You always go to him for help on academics and stuff. Just a really good athlete overall.
I had a chance to see Brad Roberts run the football every single game, and this is probably unfair to Dylan, but he reminds me so much of the way that Brad ran, where you couldn't get lower than him. He has the ability to spin off of tackles. How special of a runner is he, Bruin?
I would say that's a compliment to Dylan, if anything, running like Brad Roberts. Dylan's just one of those guys that, like, I don't think he feels pain. So, like, he'll just keep pushing, and it's insane. Obviously, he's a super strong runner, but, like, in the weight room, too, like, that dude can lift some weights, and you wouldn't, like, necessarily see it. Like, he's not just, like, dripping with muscle, but, like, that dude is strong, and I think that, like, is kind of his hidden superpower is people, like, look at him and they're like, oh, you're not 6'5" or whatever, and he'll just run right through you, which is exactly what we need back there at fullback.
No question.
And at wide receiver, we see a Swiss Army knife in Cade Harris. What can you say about his style of play and just the energy that he brings to this Falcons football team?
He's an incredible receiver for us. He always makes plays, as you can see. One of our quarterback's favorite targets, and always going for positive yards.
Really versatile, and like that Swiss Army knife like you're talking about, he can do anything he needs, and he's not the tallest, and I think a lot of people like overlook him for that, no pun intended, but dude can play. Like you're watching all these highlights, and this is maybe just 3 clips, and he's got over 100 of these. Like this is every single play for him, and that's exactly what you need. And not to mention his leadership skills, right? This dude will lead the offense. Like it's not even just the offense, it's the entire team. And people follow him, which is great for the military and the service academy, but also just on the football field. Like that is exactly the guy we need. And we're all thankful for Cade Harris.
Yeah, 23 catches, led the team last year, 48 carries in the run game, 704 all-purpose yards used in a variety of ways. You touched on Dylan and his proficiency in the weight room and how good he is. About Peyton Zdroik, I've heard maybe the strongest guy on the team and one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest in the weight room. Here's a guy, started 4 years. He's a nose tackle, tough as nails. Dad played at the academy. What are some things that we don't know about this guy? Because he's got a chance to be, if he's healthy, he's got a chance to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year in this league.
I actually share a locker right next to him in the locker room. And I'll tell you what, he is a tough as nails. That's exactly him. Last season, he battled a lot of injuries. I remember him coming in. He had like a whole bunch of braces on. I'm like, so Jork, you going to play this week? He goes, oh, I'm playing. So a guy that's just going to battle for the team, always put in 100% effort. I mean, tough as nails.
He's 10th in Air Force history with 13 sacks. He'll only move up there. You don't get by that guy. If he gets one arm on you, he's yanking you down. Let's talk about the guys that are playing behind him now. You got a linebacking crew that is fairly young. Luke Fisher and Blake Fletcher showed great promise in the time that they were on the field. Fisher had 7 tackles in his first start. Fletcher ranked 3rd on the team in tackles for loss. These guys are young guys, but the sample size on the field, Luke, was very good. When they were on the field and they got their shot, very impressive from these younger guys.
Yeah. Like you said, 2 very tough guys. We're going to fulfill a great role for us this coming season. 2 guys that work really hard as well. You always see them putting extra time in the weight room, putting extra time in the field, and also just good guys in general. Always hanging around, good people to hang out with.
On the defensive line, alongside Peyton Zdroik, Daniel Groby, who I believe was on the offensive side earlier in his career at the Air Force Academy, became very dependable, especially with some attrition up front with some injuries. Week in and week out, he took the assignment and became a really good run stopper. He plugged up holes and occasionally get after the quarterback. How impressed were you, Bruin, with the way that he took that role and then thrived?
Daniel Groby, he's a beast. Like that's the best way to describe him. That dude can do anything you ask him, and he's super versatile. Like he's also really tall too. He's one of the taller guys on the team, so that just helps him out so much. And he just he's going to be a great player for us, and he was last year, as we all know. And so I'm excited to see what Daniel Groby has to do next to Peyton Zadroik. Our D-line is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yep.
Well, on the other side of the ball, you know, you guys are so experienced. You have players like Trevor Tate, Alex Falk, but Costin Cooley, who is an all Mountain West honorable mention last year. What's it like having him on this Falcons team?
Costin Cooley, he's a little bit more of a quiet guy. He's not necessarily the vocal leader, but that dude can play, right? He's the tip of the spear, and that's what you want your center to be. And he commands, and he's the leader of the line, which is exactly what you want out of your center. And so just having that experience with him every game last year playing, and then coming back along with everybody next to him on the line, and that's not just one deep, that's two deep. We're returning a lot offensively, which is going to be pretty big for our season next year.
I would say from last year to this year, maybe that's the biggest difference between the teams is the depth on the offensive line. Steve Lebowski did a wonderful job taking guys that were beyond green and now making them, you know, could be all Mountain West offensive linemen. What a wonderful job as an academy graduate. He kind of fits the mold of what Troy Calhoun has brought in. Your assistant coaching staff and your head coach has academy grads across the board. That means what to your growth as a cadet and a football player, Luke?
I mean, it's really cool to have our coaches as academy grads because they understand what we're going through. You know, when we have a bad day or something, they understand that, you know, maybe this test didn't go well. Maybe we're taking this class that has it to do with, you know, my future career or whatever. They understand that, and they're here for us. But they're also here to push us past those. So a lot of people, you know, they could give up. Like, oh, this is too hard. They're going to push us past those limits that we thought weren't possible.
You got Brian Knorr on the defensive side as the defensive coordinator. We talked about Mike Thiessen, and, of course, the head ball coach, Troy Calhoun. He's the longest tenured head coach here in this league. Let's take a look at the schedule that the Air Force Falcons will take on here in the 2025 football season. Going to open up at home against Bucknell for a trip to Logan. You got Boise State and Hawaii coming in, and then that first game, first weekend in October, Army and Navy. You go to Annapolis this year. Army comes to your place in early November. Those games mean what to you guys? I mean, those of us who didn't serve and are not a part of the program at a granular level can never quite understand the level of importance. Bruin, those service academy games mean what to the locker room?
I mean, they mean a lot is a really good way to put it. It's more than just about football in those games. You're not representing football fans. You're representing the entire military as a whole in that games. And that's like the one day that we can be going against our brothers in arms, and I think we all understand that too. And after we graduate, we'll all be serving with these people too, so it just puts a lot more of an edge in that game, which is really cool. And so I would just say, like, we all understand that it's not just football fans that are watching that game, it's the actual military that's watching it too, and people that don't normally watch college football will be paying attention to that game and get a head up on it, which is really nice.
Obviously the Falcons have been very good in the country when it comes to football here as of late. Army and Navy had really good years last year. Taking yourself a step back, just not from an Air Force standpoint, Luke, to have Service Academy football that healthy, those two teams, really good teams, Air Force year in out, really good football teams. How fun is that to have all three Service Academy teams that are legit, really good football programs? Yeah,
for sure, especially nowadays with NIL and everything like that happening. Not many people understand that we don't get any NIL. So recruiting, not even like with that, just the transfer portal too. You won't have any guys coming in. You know, if we lose a senior, we won't have a transfer senior come in and replace them. We're going to build these guys when they're freshmen, and when their time is to come, when they're older classmen, they're going to step in and fill that role. So it's a really cool opportunity to see us service academies fulfill that 4-year development that schools aren't really doing anymore. To show that it still works, that it's still possible, and you can do it without NIL and transfers.
Should be a bucket list item for any college football fan to get out and see a Service Academy football game. It's different in so many great ways, and certainly well worth your time, effort, and money. Fellas, appreciate the time. Thank you so much for being here, but thank you even more so for your service to your country. We appreciate what you guys do and are going to do, and good luck to the Falcons this year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
You
Yeah.
bet. Brewer
Thank you,
Fleischman,
guys.
Luke Freer, the Air Force Falcons.
Awesome. Well, stay right here with us because we have some more. We have the Boise State Broncos coming up next. Our 2024 Mountain West Football Championships champions. You'll want to keep it right here on the Mountain West Network.